Welcome to Unit 4 on expression and production. We are literally past the halfway point, and so this week we will be taking the next step and looking at art and work and how these come together in the economy that we live in terms of production and expression. And I've added a video lecture on cultural variables based on research that was completed in the workplace in multinational corporations around the world. I think you'll find it very interesting. Some of it will seem very familiar. We've covered some of the issues previously, but it's a good reminder, and it's kind of contextualized into the topic for this week. We also have just a written-only PowerPoint on expression, play, sports, and art. There are several places in that PowerPoint where there are links to videos. I've also reproduced those links on Moodle so you can get to them very easily. Gamification is one of the major topics of that particular session, and also there's a video lecture on the economy, production, dependency, and also some video links within that video. I've reproduced those links on Moodle so you can get to them as well very easily. And then there are two articles I would like you to read. One, When Helping Hurts, written by a social worker, and his struggle with bringing help from outside a cultural group into from an outsider to inside another cultural group, and just that struggle he went through and what he was actually doing. You know, was he peddling services, or was he actually trying to make a difference in a positive way? And as you read through it, I would like to hear your reflections on the discussion board. The other article is more of an outline, kind of an outline of a book written by David Marantz from Wycliffe SIL. It's one of the best-selling books of that organization's published, and he deals with observations he's made in that cultural context of West Africa where he lived, and how those sometimes conflicted with the West. What you don't get are some of the stories and illustrations. You don't always get some of the feedback that he receives from Africans, because he had talked to them as well and received their feedback. But the observations themselves, I would like you to look at those. I've given you a little bit of a guide as you think through the article. It's there on Moodle, and you can, as you observe, as you evaluate the observations, you know, some ways of thinking through that, and I'd like to see some of your feedback on the discussion board this week. And then in lieu of doing a video of some kind, I have a PowerPoint, and it has modified rules for Monopoly, so I'd like you to gather some family or friends together and try to play Monopoly with these modified rules based on different starting points for the players, based on different socioeconomic status. And so some are upper class, some are lower class, some are working class, some are middle class, and it'll just show you maybe the challenge it might be for some in our society through gameplay. Might illustrate something that takes place in the reality of our economy in our particular situation. There's also a link for a brief history of the Monopoly game that you might be interested in as well. So this week's assignments, basically the discussion board and submission 2 for the second fieldwork project should be completed by next Sunday. The quiz as well will be open on Wednesday. I might open it up a little bit earlier because I'll be traveling on Wednesday, so kind of look for it Tuesday night if you get a chance. It's basically based on the reading, and some of the lectures and PowerPoints also cover some of that material. I do want to give a highlight for week 5. I would like you to try to find the documentary on DVD called Horseboy. It's the documentary based on the book that's given in your syllabus as one of the collateral reading assignments, possibilities that you could choose. But I do want you to watch the documentary. It used to be on Netflix. It no longer is, but many public libraries do hold it in their holdings. Also, you can possibly request it via Ohio link, but you would need to do that immediately, like today or Tuesday at the latest, in order to get it by the middle of next week. And so I do want you to track down Horseboy. Some of you might, be able to use your creativity to find it online somewhere, but I do want you to watch Horseboy. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Very challenging subject, very difficult in some parts to watch, but the quiz next week actually has a section where you respond to questions based on the documentary, so I do want you to have that. Also, you should by now have chosen your collateral reading book and should begin reading that as well. So with that said, welcome to week 4. Looking forward to another week with you guys.